Alright, welcome back to Number Wizard. Last time, if you'll remember, we finished up our game logic, so now, let me clear that up. If I hit play, and yours should look like this now. If it doesn't, go back and rewatch some of the videos, make sure your code's looking like this. It'll say pick an number between 1 and my minimum and my maximum, 1 and 1,000. You can hit the up arrow, down arrow, and then once they get it right, you can hit enter, and it restarts the game. Okay, so we have the game loop, we have the components of the game, but this isn't very fun as a player. And just reading some text, it's not fun at all. So now we got to get to the point where we got to make it fun and interesting. We got to do some buttons, some visuals, have it so that the player can actually interact with something on the screen. So to do that, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create, if you want to, in your hierarchy over here, let's create something called a canvas. Now the canvas is just everything that we have inside of the UI, and it's going to show up. So we have the boundaries right here. That's the boundaries of our screen. Okay, so if we want a button to show up inside of the screen, we'll want it to be inside of this box on the canvas. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a couple of different canvases, but for now we'll just start with one, and it's going to be the main menu. So we'll call it main menu canvas. Okay, and now the first thing we're going to want to do in our canvas scaler in the inspector over here, once we have our canvas selected, you'll see it says constant pixel size. The issue with that, so right now in my game scene, I'm set to 1920 by 1080. That's the arrangement, that's the screen size that I have it set to. If I try to change that screen size, you won't be able to see it very well right now, but it messes with the where the UI is placed on the screen. Okay, that's because it's trying to maintain the constant pixel size of the UI. But what we want it to do is we want it to scale with the screen size. Okay, so that if the screen size changes, the UI will scale, the buttons will scale to match the size. And at the starting resolution, I just want to put my 1920 by 1080. Okay, that's my starting resolution. Now, if I change the screen size, when we have buttons on there, you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see that it maintains the same size. So let's actually get a button in there to see what that looks like. So let me double click my canvas again. Make sure it's showing up. Let's see. Okay, so I got my canvas on here. Let's right click. Let's create a UI button. Okay. So when I do that, okay, there we go. When I do that, you'll see that it shows up on the game view as well. It's kind of small, but you can make it bigger if you want. I will make mine bigger in a second, but right now I'm going to rename it, right? Because the only button I want on the first screen actually is just going to be start game. That's the only button we're going to have for now on the main menu, just to start the game. And so now you'll see when I created that, I right-clicked on canvas to create it on the main menu canvas, because when I did that, it set it as a child of the main menu canvas. And what that means is that these are now connected. So if I were to say deactivate the main menu canvas, the children get deactivated as well. Okay, that's going to come in handy when we start switching between the main menu and the game. Okay, you'll see that the start game button also has a child, and that is the text of the game. So why don't we go ahead with the start button. If you look over onto the right in the inspector, you can change the width and the height. Let me go ahead and change the width. I'm going to set mine to, let's see, 400, and let's try 100. Yeah, that looks okay for me. Okay, so now that you have your button size set, you'll see that our text, it's still really small. That's because we haven't changed anything with that. So if you click on the text object and open that up, you can change the text. So I'm going to say start. And then font size you can change as well. So I'm just going to, oh, too big, too fast. Let's start at 70. 70 is a good number. That's looking pretty good. So now you have your button in there, and so now, if I were to do free aspect, the button scales with the size of my screen. Okay. If I were to, let's go back over here, if I were to do the constant pixel size, and I were to do the different size, okay, it gets a little bit, oh, let's go to free aspect, there we go. It gets a little bit wonky. Alright, so we want the scale with screen size, and then you can set your default resolution. I just have mine by 1920 by 1080p, which is usually a good default resolution for a game. Okay, so now we have a button on the screen. Here's the next thing that we want to think about is if we put our button over to the side. Let's see, there we go. We put our button over to the side, And let's say we were to change the size of our screen. Let's say we were to do like some weird numbers, okay? It just makes it, right? Our button even disappears if we have a 10 by 16 screen. So we don't want that. We want people of any screen size and screen resolution to be able to play the game and see everything. So to set that so that it doesn't change, right? So our main menu canvas, it scales with pixel size. Now we want to set the button, we want to give it an anchor, and it'll anchor to different parts of the screen. So if you see right here, you have the top and then the right? It'll anchor it to the top right, and you'll see that the anchor point on the left side, you see how that changed? It was centered before, so it was showing up right there. Now if I click right, that's where it will try to maintain the same distance between all four corners of the button to the top right of the screen. So now if I were to, oops, let me go back over here. Okay, now if you were to change it, it would maintain that same distance between the top right of the screen and the button. Okay, so that's just to make it so that anybody who plays, if they have a different resolution of screen, it will still look good on the screen. So now that you have a button, let's do something for some visuals. So down in your assets, to create a folder, you'll want to create a folder, and we're just going to do art. Okay, we're just going to name it art. That's where we're going to put all of our visuals. And I already have a cool little sprite here, little character. It's Number Wizard, so I had to do a wizard for it. So I want that to be in the main menu, so I'm going to right click on main menu, click UI and image, and then you'll see it kind of gives a spot for the image. I'm going to set it, here's a little cool thing with the anchors, okay? I want to set it to the left. I want to set it so that it stays right here to the left side of the screen. So I'm going to set my anchor to the bottom left. But also if you're on Mac, if you hold Option and click left, it'll move the picture, automatically sets it into that corner over there. If you're on a PC, you hit Alt and you can click on it. See, Alt also set the position. Okay, so let's go back to our image. And if you click on the little image component in the inspector, it has a source image spot. I'm just gonna drag, I'm just gonna drag and drop the image on there, and it's super tiny, so I'm gonna, you know what, I'm just gonna do it like this. If I click up here, I can scale it up. Okay, so it kind of messed with my position of the image, so I'm just gonna move it up to the right and up so it sits in the center. Okay, and now it's anchored to the left side, the bottom left of the screen. So here's your little challenge. Go ahead and in your project create a main menu canvas, right? You just right click, create canvas, and then name it main menu canvas, and create a start game button and an image. Okay, so that's going to be a little mini challenge for you. So go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and create those things, and then we will continue on in the next video.